Greetings, stranger. I hope we don't remain strangers for long. I'm Dave Makes Noises. Welcome to MrRipper. Today, we're asking the tabletop gamers of our community, what is the most useless item you gave your party? Part 4. I gave the PCs 2 magic slates with chalk. Writing on one would also write on the other. They never found a good use for it. Now the potential. I also offered these spell scrolls from a merchant eager to make some money. Levitate birds, make birds lift off of the ground. Time of youth, reverse age by 1 day. Grow flame, throw in the scroll to increase the size of a flame. That's pretty good. Create rain, once cast it will rain within 14 days. Kill pests, roll up scroll and swat bugs to kill them. Wizard staff turns a 6-foot-long pole into a 6-foot-long staff. I gave them a flute they couldn't get rid of. It was cold to the touch and would randomly play snippets of a soft, haunting melody. Every time they tried to get rid of it or destroy it, it would reappear in 1 to 3 days later in one of the PC's pouches. It didn't actually do anything or have any meaning. I just used it to mess with them. A cheese grater, but instead of grating cheese, everything it grated turned into cheese. Party is hungry? No problem. Have some cheese. Trapped in a cell? Just grate your way out. Nat 20 on an intimidation check? Let someone else in the party do the interrogation while you sit there grating whatever's handy, and hint that the prisoner's feet are next if they don't cooperate. As a joke, I had an item the party touched give them useless boons, like the ability to change any sort of Danish into a prune Danish or summon a hummingbird. Each boon could only be activated once, so don't waste them. I thought it was a funny joke and might lead to some roleplay later. It was a random item they found displayed in a town, so I didn't feel like I was cheating them after a dungeon crawl or anything. DM had a beloved NPC, a young mage's apprentice named Lucas, give us an item he created, a rock of gravity detection. You drop it, and if it falls, there's gravity there. Sometimes it wouldn't fall, or fall in odd directions. We never did figure out why. At some point in my campaign, our warlock rolled okay for finding precious loot to steal and got a prosthetic eye that, when given to a blind person, can help them see but is otherwise useless. We all kind of forgot about it, but flash toward 15 or so sessions later when we get a new player who just so happens to be blind. Mine was something called the piss blanket. It was a joke item that could absorb any liquid it came into contact with. It could hold about 15 liters of liquid, and when you wring it out, the liquid comes out 1 liter at a time. My dumbass forgot that lava is considered a liquid. They used it to absorb some lava, and now they just dump it on most enemies they come by. My character has memory loss of the first 15 years of his life. I found a pipe of remembrance, which I used as a plot hook to get back memories I had lost. My wife was given a mystery key in session 1 as part of a bundle of rather useless, mundane magical items we found. In our most recent session, she used it to unlock a mysterious chest and rolled a 100. We circumvented a large quest line to get the proper key, but it was super cool. Useless item idea, a ring of invulnerability, but only the ring is invulnerable. Torch of dark vision. It was just a regular torch. Mine is from Stars Without Number, space post-apocalyptic OSR, but easy to adapt. Flask of infinite schnapps. A small chrome flask which feels about half full. When drinking or pouring from it, it will produce an infinite stream of peach schnapps, or other liquor. Aw, my grandmother loved peach schnapps. That was her jam. Well, that was her schnapps. I assume peach jam was her jam. Our DM made economy crazy hard. At level 3, I had like 25 gold. Before going after the next monster, we wanted to shop in preparation. We go to the magic item shop, and when I asked the shopkeeper, is there something for like 25 gold here, he laughed and gave me this stone of gravity. Yep, it was obvious that he was mocking me with a regular stone. However, I took it. For luck, you know. When we encountered said monster, it turned out to be some sort of homebrewed young remoraz. He dug under the ground, and that's when I remembered the stone. I threw it a fair distance away from us, made a decent roll, and the remoraz was baited by the sound of the stone hitting the ground. We almost TPK'd that fight, but that one free round allowed us time to escape. Thanks for the free gift, magic trader. Gave the gnome paladin in my party a coin that screams telepathically into its owner's mind for 10 minutes every time it's given to a new owner. We went to a banquet. My party mate stuffs his bag full of plates. Hours pass. Boss fight comes. He gives me his bag and tells me to throw it at the boss as he carries me on his back. Roll for attack, nat 20. It was the highest damage attack in the whole fight. My DM once gave me a full set of mithril plate armor. It was dwarven-sized. I play a massive dragonborn. Several months later, we had caught a demon red-handed, having one of our NPC allies hidden in a box after claiming not to have seen her in days, so in retaliation, I asked the demon for enough mithril to reforge the armor in my size. In the meantime, I had also found boots of elven kind. So now I'm a massive gold dragonborn war cleric in full plate armor, and I'm stealthier than our tabaxi rogue. We came across a dagger that was made from a metal that absorbed a person's soul if they were touching it when they died. My dwarf fighter began to carry it around just in case, since it made it easier to resurrect and such. At one point, he was disarmed and ended up killing a hill giant with it because it was available. Several levels later, we were in an epic situation. We walk into a room and a deity tells us we must present them with a soul or we cannot pass. While the others are debating, I pulled the dagger out and handed it to the deity. The GM and the party were dumbfounded and confused, but after double-checking how the ability worked, the GM said, "Yeah, it's a soul." Later in the epic fight, the hill giant joined our side. It was intended to be one of the party members, and we were supposed to be surprised when they turned up. We're fighting a super tough enemy. Haven't heard a single word from him all fight. Suddenly, he says he wants the piece of map I have in my backpack so he can destroy it. DM thinks we'll either give it to him or keep fighting a fight we'd probably lose. An idea strikes me. Replicate the map piece onto a piece of paper, then give the enemy what he wants. DM sits in silence for like 30 seconds, dumbfounded that the plot he thought he had masterfully crafted had suddenly derailed, at the hands of a barbarian with minimum intelligence, no less. The sensitive shield, sentient, a shield that begs for mercy and screams when it is hit. It also knows the shield spell, which it uses to defend itself from heavy blows that would otherwise hit it. The player kept it because it had a higher intelligence and knew more languages than his character did. Found an idol in a crate while I was looting and asked if the idol could be Tiger Woods. The DM allowed it, and I would then use it as a torch by using light on it and throw it across fences to distract foes so our rogue can do some sneak attacks. For a while, it was also the only item we had that counted as a bludgeoning weapon. Without Tiger Woods, we would have died to 2 different groups of skeletons. I made a broken bag of holding. It opened on a demiplane of random lost things. You could pull something out of it 3 times per day, and I made a D100 list of items that would come out. They got out of it several dead cats, an enchanted leather armor, a bag of sweets, a vial of vinegar, and some other things I scarcely remember. The necromancer used the dead cats as a diversion far too many times. I'm running Curse of Strahd, and my players just got out of Death House. The Gnoll barbarian picked up a cloak made of ghoul skin. It is absolutely useless unless you like ghoul skin cloaks, or so I thought. The moment they got out of Death House, bloody and beaten, I had Strahd greet the characters and talk to them. After my DM PC, a tiefling sorceress, was teleported away, I needed a reason for the players to begin leading themselves. The Gnoll, in a panic, ran up to Strahd and threw the ghoul skin cloak over Strahd's head, which led to Strahd rolling a nat 1 on his dex check and falling back as the party made a run for it. That would be a mutated second head for my half-orc fighter due to mutation from strange magics contaminating an area. Due to his low charisma, his social rolls were terrible, but thanks to the second head, I often got to roll twice. This repeatedly became a thing. Fail roll, second head succeeds. I put a tiny hat on him and gave him a cigar. One time, one of my friends rolled a nat 20 looking for loot. As a house rule, if it's a nat 20, we automatically find something, even if nothing was planned to be found there. So my DM rolled the dice, and we got a sphere of annihilation. Earlier, we'd found a door that would not open until the magic locks were unlocked by their respective keys, and any physical or magic damage would be reflected to the caster. Since we were all about level 5, none of us could control the sphere. However, on a failed save, the sphere would move 10 feet towards the person attempting to control it. We decided to have this thing bore through a total of 600 feet of dungeon to bring it to this door. Earlier, I had teleported behind the door, but was quickly damaged by gnawing darkness. So I decided to YOLO and teleport behind the door once again. A booming voice said, "You have trespassed twice. Now you shall die." And then I intentionally failed to control the sphere and sent it crashing into the door. Since I failed to control the sphere, the door did not do damage to me, but instead created a loop of magical interaction between it and the sphere, which lasted for about a minute. When the loop resolved, the door and the sphere had merged somehow, creating a hollow ball of this reflective magical metal. This became the party's new precious homebrew magic item, the Magic Reflection Disco Ball. We later did some tinkering after beating the boss in the room and made it so if a spell hit the disco ball on a successful roll, the spell would be stored inside the ball, perpetually reflecting until the ball is opened. On a middling roll, it would reflect randomly in a direction determined by the dice. Sadly, this all happened in a 3-part one-shot, so we never actually got to take the item out of the dungeon. Salutations and welcome to the very end of this video, and thank you for sticking it out to this point, you absolute legend. If you've given your party a useless item, we want to hear about it in the comments section. If you've got another story burning a hole in your psyche that you need to let out into the world, please do so in our official subreddit, r/MrRipper, where we are always looking for stories for videos. If you'd like to find some friends to play D&D with, we may have your fix over at Mr. Ripper's Group Finder. I hope that you take some time this week and revel in the vastness of the universe we get to share in this incarnation. I've been Dave Makes Noises. You've been an absolute peach. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Dave Makes Noises. Thank you again for watching. Please sub for Nat 20s. Put some ding dong on that bell if you're a punctual Pete like me, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.